Yeah, so this is the review for Series 2 of Torchwood. So yeah, I've done all the individual reviews. This is now for the full whole Series 2 one. So let's get to it. So overall, it's just, I think, a much stronger series. There's a lot of, there's there far less of the more childish adult episodes. There's no Cyberwoman in this one. It's much more grown up. The show knows what it wants to be. Same for the writers. You've got some really good individual episodes. You get much more focus on Jack's backstory, which is great because there's so much more there. You even get everyone's backstory except Gwen. And the episode 12 fragment has everyone like having a life or death moment where they see their past before they could all be killed when a building is booby trapped and blows up. So you see how Owen wasn't always the horrible person he is. Before he ended up when you see him in Torchwood, he actually had a fiance who died from what was basically covered up as a brain tumor, which really had some alien parasite in her brain. And you got Yanto, of course, as we knew, had his cyber girlfriend. He basically got the job with Jack to bury her in there because Torchwood London's gone. You see that Torchwood Wales have got no link with Torchwood London at all, which is pretty cool to see because you just know from watching this, there's just no similarity whatsoever. Other than the name. So you got your great origin episode, then how everyone joined Torchwood. You've got a lot of good character members like Adam, as everyone changed. I see an alien called Adam who somehow feed off people's memories to become part of their lives. He basically implants himself into everyone's heads and has problems. Yeah, he doesn't go well. He basically causes Gwen to think Reese is like some stranger's trying to kill her. Triggers old memories in Jack he wanted left buried. Changes Gwen and Owen admittedly for the better. It makes Tosh and Owen a lot more confident and Owen a lot less hateful and cynical. So yeah, you could argue he's made them better, but yeah, he just changed everyone's personalities, and of course putting himself in it in such a cruel way is just wrong. He basically, when Yanto works out something's going on, he basically just puts fake memories of him killing innocent women into his head and just scarring him for life. He basically forced himself into Jack's memories as a type of blackmail to force him to keep him around, and like Jack has to let it all go. You've got some good individual ones. Toshiko gets her earlier episode to The Last Man, where the person who gets unfrozen until they can be sent back to the World War he's in at the right time, and Toshi's a Bond ruin and doesn't want to let him go. So that's a really good episode. Of course, John, Captain John, played by James Masters, is exactly like what Jack used to be, possibly worse. Who knows? But remember that Jack in The Empty Shelves, not a good guy. Joking about being around in Pompeii on Volcano Day. Obviously, that's not quite like the Jack who basically let this demon kill him over and over and over again until he defeats it. There's Jack in the back. John is exactly what Jack used to be like. And yeah, he's played brilliantly by James Masters. Having just watched Buffy, loving him as Spike. It's great to see him again. When I first watched this, I'd never seen Buffy. I only started that a couple of years ago. Shameful, I know. But back in the 2000s, if not everyone had Sky TV and there's no way to access anything like there is now. Yeah, he's absolutely great. He's effectively the sixth cast member of the group. And then, of course, the other seventh one, I suppose, is Martha. She comes back. She's there to assist Owen and effectively take his place when Owen gets gunned down. And yeah, it's good. She still feels like a Doctor Who character. I heard they were talking about making her more adult, literally Series 1 attitudes, Torchwood, having like swearing, sexual stuff. Yeah, they wisely cut that out to make her feel still like Martha, but showing that she's in a bit more of an adult show, mainly dealing with Owen lusting after her. And yeah, it's great. She's a part of a 3-part trilogy, which results in Owen being killed to save her, and Owen getting resurrected like somewhat permanently. He still exists, but he can't do things like eat, drink, or shag, his favourite things. Any of that stuff. So Owen improves over the series a lot from how he used to be. He seems like he's trying to chill out, even before his death experience. He's trying to like ease up on his old ways. He's not interested in like going to bars every night to look for women, all that stuff. Tosh seems a bit happier than she was in the first series as well. Yanto and Jack are officially a couple, and yeah, it definitely brings out the best in Yanto there. And of course, it's just 2 series, so it's great one-off episodes, good like story arc episodes, and well, the story arc is quite basic, basically. Jack's getting his memories back, which leads to John, who in the first episode says that he found Jack's brother Grey. You see some flashbacks. Jack mentions the worst type of creatures came after his family. And yes, and then the series finale. Series 1 was just a giant demon, the son of the beast from the Satan Pit in Series 2, just goes on a rampage killing everyone, and Jack stops it when there's the time vortex energy in his body, kills it after it's unable to kill him at all with his shadow, kills everyone he touches, but just puts Jack in agony. This is much smaller scale stuff. Jack gets buried alive by his brother, although John does help him escape, who turns out to be a victim of the whole thing. He rescues Jack, but Jack's brother does all sorts of terrible things. He basically sets bombs off around the city, lets the Weevils loose out of the sewers, which of course the government just pass off as wild animal attacks. And yeah, he basically personally like murders Tosh, and Owen gets trapped in a reactor, which will then basically just melts his body apart when it blows up. So yeah, you lose. You lost. The only real cast loss would have been Susie in episode 1, but it was just the first episode, and actually killed herself after trying to kill Jack because she weren't a good person because of what the power of what Torchwood has did to her. These are different. Owen and Tosh. Yeah, Owen was never a good person, but he wasn't like the worst ever. And yeah, you get a thing with more time, he could have like kind of become the sort of person that Tosh and Jack saw him as. But yeah, you lose them. It's a real shame. It's just down to 3. And of course, the other big thing, Reese finds out the truth. He basically just comes across the scene where Gwen is, follows her, finds out what's going on. But yeah, amazingly, Gwen doesn't retcon his memory. She refuses to do that, even if Jack's in the right purse. And yeah, so Reese helps. She thinks it'd be wrong to do that, and of course, she can't just keep the torture thing that lies up forever. You'd eventually find out. So yeah, and of course, she gets married to him. So it's great that there's like, of course, they tease Jack being interested in her and like last chance, but no, that's just an alien posing as Jack, an alien shapeshifter on her wedding day that also gets her pregnant. So yeah, overall series 2, much better show. It knows much better series than series 1. It knows what it wants to be. All the actors seem to have nailed the characters as well. There's got a lot of stuff on Jack's past, and you got the Fragments episode, the origin story for everyone. Like how Jack's old boss killed his entire team, just put him in charge because he felt no one except Jack was capable of leading Torchwood into the future. And how everyone joined, how different people were before. Like I said, with Owen, the really good guy at the start and is the worst to get. But after he loses his wife, he just turns into the worst person possible. So yeah, overall, much better series than series 1. But you can't watch this without series 1. You need to have seen that. Unlike a certain other series, which I will get to soon. So yeah, better than series 1. Series 1 has still got its great standout episode show. I've always said the last 4 episodes are just a perfect streak of great. Even Abaddon and its overtopness was still a great episode. Yeah, this is definitely overall the better series than series 1. But yes, that's it. I'll see you next time for the next one.